Unscripted.
Every generation, these companies make a bunch of promises to us before the release of new consoles, and that doesn't really come as much of a surprise. I think that nobody should be surprised by that. Almost a politician level of, promises and things like that, and rarely do they ever deliver the full effect of those promises. And so each generation, you are sort of let down by something. And listen, even like I was an Xbox fanboy, I have no problems admitting that. I was caught in that whole believing Phil Spencer type situation, and I still hope the best for Xbox. I mean, I have one. I would love to. There's so many things that I would love to talk about that Xbox Series X and just say, what the heck are they thinking? Like, to be honest with you, like some of the old games, I'll give you a good example of this, right? Like, so I thought I installed the quote-unquote upgrade to Forza Horizon 4 a while ago, a couple weeks ago. But the other day, I went to go hop on it for a minute, and it said it again, and I clicked cancel so that I could play the game, and now there is no option to update it. So am I playing the Xbox Series X version? I'm looking in the menu for an option at frame rate and stuff like that, and I don't see one. So to be honest with you, I have no clue when I'm playing Xbox games on the Series X, if I'm playing a Series X enhanced game or not. I know that there's a list of them that are Series X supported, but I have no clue whether or not I'm actually playing those. So, to be honest with you, it's hard telling what I think about the Series X. I don't know. Who the heck knows? But with that being said, even last gen, we saw some interesting things. Like even Sony, they got it wrong with some things. Obviously, they were promising demos on every game and all this kind of stuff. That never really came about the way that it should. But at the end of the day, I do think that it's kind of unfortunate that sometimes these type of things happen. These companies obviously are trying to sell us on their consoles and on their vision of the future, and sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. But it is nice to see see what happens when good things do happen, when the positive stuff is kind of brought up, when they actually do deliver, because they do oftentimes deliver, and that I'm very thankful for. But of course, no company's perfect. I've been over that like about a million times now. But I wanted to get started regardless, and let's go. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. If you're looking for a way to help out a small little crappy channel like mine, the best way to do it, a simple like. I put a lot of hard work and effort into the videos, and a like goes a long way. You might consider subscribing or hitting that bell so you're notified of everything as soon as it drops as well. That would be another way you can support the channel. And that's what it takes, it's just one of those things. But for me personally, I think that both Sony and Microsoft were making incredible promises with this next generation, right? We got some incredible promises, and some of the stuff you think, oh well, that's how do you really deliver with that? One of the things that a lot of people took issue with Sony was something like Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. Okay, and the reason why so many people took a little bit of like they were kind of angry about this is because you supposedly get almost a free enhancement, free game once you're playing the game, an older game on the Xbox Series X. The problem is a lot of those games aren't enhanced like this. Like, you could tell that a lot of time and effort actually went into this to take advantage of it, where on Microsoft's side, a lot of the times it's just just because it has better hardware and stuff like that, where you could tell they went into the coding on the like the Spider-Man Remastered. Even like I actually had a chance to play this, and I picked up where I left off on Spider-Man Miles Morales. But that game itself, there's a 1440p 60 frames per second ray tracing mode now on there, just like on Spider-Man Remastered, and that it's hard, you can't go back from playing it that way. I'm telling you, the ray tracing is phenomenal. Everything looks so amazing, and you have that 60 FPS, which again, it's hard to believe that a $400 console can achieve this. I can't state that enough, because I know, props to the people that were spending a ton of money to get that type of performance on PCs. Nothing but love for you, but to get this performance and get this kind of stuff on a $400, $399, folks, for a digital PS5, and you can play stuff in 1440p, 60 frames, ray tracing. I mean, who would have ever thought we'd see that, right? I mean, that in and of itself, with that controller, which the controller itself I think is like $70 or something. So realistically, you take out the controller, you're getting a heck of a deal right there. So Digital Foundry was talking about Spider-Man's enhancements, and this is why I think that people should hold off on bashing stuff before we get to see the whole picture. Obviously, Spider-Man Miles Morales was a key launch title for the PlayStation 5, but the next-gen remaster of the first outing is well worth checking out, according to Digital Foundry. This isn't just a PS4 Pro version operating at a higher resolution. There's a bunch of visual improvements from new assets, refining lighting, and of course the addition of hardware-accelerated ray tracing. Indeed, a recent patch has added support for ray tracing at 60 frames per second, an enhancement present on both of the Spider-Man titles available on the PlayStation 5. Insomniac Games has also solved the issue of transferring save data from across the original PS4 game, making this an excellent way to continue the story if you never finish the game. Now, despite the last-gen foundations, the boosts delivered by PS5 are impressive. The original PS4 Pro version targets 30 frames per second with dynamic resolution scaling averaging around 1584p most of the time. They use temporal injection is used to deliver a clean image when played on a 4K display. Now on the PlayStation 5, there's 3 different visual presentations. The quality mode bumps it up to a full native 4K output most of the time, though dynamic scaling is in effect and can drop to 1512 at times in a worst case scenario. In performance mode, the target a near 4K resolution, but with a more aggressive DRS that results to drops to 1440p. Quality holds up very well, though, thanks in no small part to the temporal injection technology that worked on the last gen systems, all of which makes the new ray trace performance mode even more interesting. Just how much of a hit is required to deliver hardware-based ray tracing at 60 frames per second? Well, it's more about just resolution cut, but suffice to say the DRS window is adjusted downwards. Lower bands can hit as low as 1080p, but the vast majority of the experience plays out in 1440p, in the upper bounds of 1440p. So it's also worth pointing out that the same stats play for Miles Morales, which gets the same 3 presentations. So, in effect, the PlayStation 5 is quite remarkable up against the PS4 Pro. You get twice the frame rate plus hardware ray tracing with a small haircut on the resolution. So, basically, you're getting 1440p, which, again, if you have a 4K TV, you're getting a beautiful picture. It looks absolutely stunning. And you're getting 60 frames per second, and you're getting hardware-based ray tracing. So, I think that's really going to show you that a lot of extra work and effort went into this, not just, play an old game in the new hardware and it's going to play better or have a higher frame rate or something like that. This is completely going beyond that. They actually went into the coding and remastered this game, and I think that's why it's worth the $20 or whatever it is that they showed you. And I know that Microsoft is trying to be like the good guys or whatever, but if you do something, if you're working for something, I think you deserve to be paid for it, obviously, anyway. But they're really talking about how amazing this is and how they've really done this. The inclusion of hardware accelerated ray tracing in the 60 frames per second that truly sets this remaster apart from the original. Swinging through the city alongside so many glass buildings is radically enhanced thanks to the additional parallax made possible via real-time reflections, and Insomniac's implementation here is fascinating. Rays are traced out to the horizon, meaning that anything logically visible within a reflection will be rendered. To pull this off, the game traces into a slightly lower detail version of the city, so not every object is featured in full detail. However, the effect of using real-time reflections cannot be understated. It's just that this was only available at 30 frames per second until now. With the new ray tracing mode, there's just 16.7 milliseconds to build each frame, meaning that the processing demands are increased dramatically. It's not just about the GPU, the CPU as well really does a fantastic job with this, and they do a good job of kind of breaking this down. But suffice to say, they're really thrilled by what the PlayStation 5 can do. Again, the PlayStation 5 punching above its weight with what it's supposed to be able to do, what people said it was supposed to do, what people said it was going to be able to do, and I feel like that's something that should be celebrated by everybody. I mean, we're all fans of gaming here. I think we should all also celebrate, when something like this happens, because this is nothing but good things for gamers everywhere. I mean, realistically, this is just absolutely incredible, and you have to see it to believe it. I know it's an old game, and you're like, oh well, it's just so. But Miles Morales, which is a new game, I'm telling you, night and day difference with this new mode. I'm glad that I waited to finish the game with this new mode enabled. So wow, it's just something completely different. It's that next gen feel and that next gen look that I think a lot of people are really looking for themselves. So I will link this. You guys can let me know what you think. Sound off, rate, comment, subscribe. Please take care of yourself and each other. Stay safe, happy, and healthy. Rack 'em up. Game on, my friends. Game on. Please take a minute to consider subscribing and like the video. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.